When we talk about Chimoio and Nyadzonya, we usually talk only of the massacres that happened there. 14-year-old Monica Mchwangwa, then known as Chido Chimrenga, is one of the Nyadzonya survivors. From Nyadzonya, they would walk 3 days to Chimoio, where they would survive another massacre alongside Opamchinguri. Of course, the memories are sad and they will never fade. But what else do we know of these camps? How were they established? What was happening there before the disruption? And what is the current state of the sites now? There are stories of mysterious happenings and strange things happening there now. It is said every time there is a political turmoil in Zimbabwe, strange sightings are seen at the Chimoio shrine. It has been reported that blood oozed out of the mass graves. It has also been reported that the same grave rises and falls, usually an indicator of the political temperature in Zimbabwe. It is said that one could tell the political mood in Zimbabwe through a grave located nearest to the museum. But before we talk about the mysterious things that are happening at the sites, let us talk about the camps themselves. Chimoio Camp. Chimoio was a large Zanla encampment and training facility and a launchpad for the guerrillas infiltrating into Rhodesia. It was located at New Farm, known locally as Adriano Farm. It was the residence of Josiah Magama Tongogara, a prominent Zimbabwean guerrilla commander. As the Lancaster House concluded, Tongogara returned to Mozambique, where Zanla was based, to inform his soldiers of the ceasefire. Tongogara would meet his end traveling from Maputo to Chimoio. During the Rhodesia Bush War, Tongogara was the brother of the current Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa's first wife, Jane. The Chimoio Complex. New Farm was a farm acquired by Frelimo government in 1975 from its Portuguese owner known as Adriano. It was handed over by the Mozambican government to Zanla, which made it their then forward military operating headquarters. It was home to military, political, and other civilian occupants and included a hospital, schools, and stores. The complex included Adriano Farmhouse or White House, ZANU-PF Party HQ, and residence of Josiah Tongogara and others of the general staff. Parenyatwa Camp Hospital, Takawira Camp 1 for general military training, Takawira Camp 2 for engineering and anti-aircraft training, home to guerrillas trained in China, Yugoslavia, and Tanzania. Chitepo College of Ideology for political indoctrination, propaganda, and so on. Chindunduma, a camp general school. Mbuya Nehanda A, a female military training camp. Mbuya Nehanda B, a gynecology and obstetrics clinic. Persintini Camp, a rehabilitation unit for the disabled and wounded guerrillas. Chaminuka, an internal security and intelligence unit doubling up as a prison. Zede Zerano Camp, the military stores, ordnance, supply, and vehicle pool, and the Mudzingadzi Piggery. Pasichigare Camp, a camp for the accommodation of in-house ngangas, mediums, predictors of the future, and traditional healers. Sekuru Kagui Camp, a care home for the pensioned cadres or their older relatives. 29 November 1977, as the Rhodesian Prime Minister Mr. Ian Smith unveiled his latest plan for a peace settlement with black nationalist guerrillas. Rhodesian government forces attacked an alleged guerrilla base camp more than 50 miles inside the Mozambican border. An official Rhodesian communique issued after the raid said that more than 1,000 guerrillas had been killed during the coordinated operation. The attack near the Mozambican town of Chimoio began with a heavy bombing raid which lasted 2 days. The bombs were followed swiftly by helicopter gunships which ragged the camp from end to end, firing at anything that moved on the ground. According to those who survived in the camp, the air raid, Rhodesian troops would not spare them. They then landed by helicopter and began a systematic killing of all those they could find still alive among the burning ruins and the gutted buildings. Nationalist guerrilla sources in Mozambique said the Rhodesian troops remained in the camp for 2 days. A large Mozambican army column had attempted to reach the camp, but it had been driven off by Rhodesian air bombardment. Nyadzonya camp. Nyadzonya was a ZANLA logistics camp housing an estimated 5,000 people. Upon arrival at Nyadzonya, the first things cadres would do was to work as security officers at the camp. This was the procedure every new cadre had to go through as part of their integration process. They were then grouped into specific companies. Most cadres at Nyadzonya had received light training which included cover and crawl tactics. The bulk of them did not have any weapons. Comrades would then be recruited from Nyadzonya to go to training camps in places like Tanzania. Some would remain behind helping in other chores and in other departments like security and building. Morrison Nyati, also known as Morris Nyati and Lavison Mtasa. He was a ZANLA double agent who is known to have sold out the Zimbabwe Liberation War fighters by leading the Rhodesian security forces, the Selous Scouts, to raid the Nyadzonya camp in Mozambique. The raid reportedly resulted in the death of 600 refugees and some 500 injured. Nyati had himself recently been a commander at Nyadzonya. Nyati, former commander of Nyadzonya, was a member of the Selous Scouts sent to infiltrate ZANLA. He did so admirably and soon won promotion to the rank of camp commander for his high-level military skills. However, he was accused and found guilty of extorting money from the peasantry, and for this transgression, he was demoted. He was also accused of taking liberties with women freedom fighters, a form of behavior condoned by the veterans but condemned by the Washandi. ZANLA was very strict in ensuring that its soldiers did not alienate people, their lifeline, in any way. Soon after that, Nyati returned in his true guise as a member of the Selous Scouts, the crack Rhodesian military unit trained in unconventional warfare, whose main task was now to fight guerrilla incursions by making preemptive strikes into neighboring countries. In this case, they felt justified in attacking a refugee camp where there were many potential recruits for the guerrilla army. And even though none of them had yet been recruited or received any military training, they attacked them. In this case, They felt justified in attacking a refugee camp where there were many potential recruits for the guerrilla army. Strange things happening at Chimoio Shrine, according to a narration by a caretaker who worked there. It said, on many nights, many different nights, people usually dressed in white can be seen singing and playing drums at the shrine. Then there are times where people singing at night, typical of the Pungwe sessions that were common during the liberation struggle, could be heard, but on closer inspection of where the singing would be coming from, nothing could be heard or seen. Nothing can be heard or seen. In 2015, when the shrine was completed, the norm was to take the 3 flags at the shrine down at the end of the day and raise them again on the following day. But once the caretaker took the flags home, then, as he narrates, he would be assured of a restless night. He said he wouldn't even sleep, and he would hear movements in around his room and even outside, but without seeing anybody. Now the grave, which is known to rise and fall, the one that at time oozes blood, has some bees for security. Some of the bees live in big tree near the museum. Whilst it is an open secret that the spirit mediums played a critical role in the country's war of liberation, maybe the same spirits seem to be keeping a close eye on the shrine, maybe through the bees. Anyone who passes unpleasant comments about the shrine receives instant justice from the bees. In previous years, there were times when the sound of gunfire would come from within the museum, usually at night. Interestingly, come the following morning, there would not be a single of the fierce battle that would have raged the previous night. These are some of the mysterious things said to be happening at the Chimoio Memorial Site and Museum over there. Alright guys, that was it on the Chimoio camp and Nyadzonya camp. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live on ZIMBABWE Media. As always, thank you for watching, and I'm signing out.